Hello, it's Sonia here with the Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. Today is a Wednesday, and every Wednesday I feature a crochet stitch of the week. So today's stitch is going to be a half double crochet, but it's going to be a half double crochet with a twist. I'm going to show you how to work half double crochet in the third loop. I think it might also be called the camel stitch. I'm not completely sure about that, but definitely half double crochet in the third loop. And to do this stitch, I am using my H hook or 5mm hook, and I have, it's called worsted weight on the label, but I do believe it's closer to a decate weight yarn, but you can certainly use worsted weight, and this will work with, you know, pretty much any hook size you have and a variety of yarn sizes as well. So this stitch works best in the round, or if you're doing rows with no turning. So what I mean by that is you would actually work a row and then you'd have to cut your yarn and then start at the beginning and work a row. So you'll understand what I mean as we get going. So we will chain 20 to get started. Alright, I have 20, actually I'm going to do one more, so we'll do 21 chains. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to be working in the round so that you can see how this stitch is worked. So for our first stitch, we are going to work a half double crochet in the third chain from our hook. You can certainly work in the chain however you would like to. So if you've never even done a half double crochet, you yarn over, you insert your hook in the chain, in the third chain, so 1, 2, 3. And you'll pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook. You'll yarn over, pull through all 3 of those loops. So we have our half double crochet, and then I'm just going to continue and work half double crochet all the way across. And then usually when you're doing this, your skipped chain 2 counts as a stitch, so we should have 20. Doesn't really matter for this technique. You're actually going to be focusing on the actual stitches and not on the chain 2. So then we would have a total of 19. So we'll just continue to work our half double crochets in this chain. So this is the setup row, and I do actually have some patterns that utilize this stitch, so I can link them in the description box. I have a hat pattern and I have a cowl pattern using this half double crochet in the third loop stitch, and I think it's a really fun stitch and it creates a really interesting fabric. Okay, so I have finished my first row here. So the best way to utilize this half double crochet in the third loop is either working it in the round or working it, you know, after each row you would cut your yarn and start off at the beginning. So you want to have the stitch, this part of the stitch facing you, and I will show you in a minute. So we are going to work it in the round. So I'm just going to grab this other end and turn it this way. So now let's just examine this stitch real quick so that we can understand the anatomy of this stitch, so what it's made up of, its components. So when you're looking at this stitch, as most stitches have, they have a front loop. So here's the front loop. They have a back loop. And most stitches, you know, they usually just have a front or back loop, but the half double crochet is unique because when you do turn it, there it is. There is the third loop right there. So it actually has a third loop. So this stitch looks really cool if you're always working on this side in the third loop. It almost looks kind of knitted, but it kind of has its own unique looking fabric, I think. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, how to do that. So we're going to work on this first stitch. So we're going to turn her. So there's our first stitch. So I'm turning it again, there's that third loop, and just working a half double crochet. So you're still only working half double crochets, you're just working in the third loop. So we will just work half double crochet all the way around. So I'm going to finish working in the third loop around and then I will meet you back. Okay, so I have finished my first round of working in the third loop. So you can kind of see what it does is it pops this part of the stitch out. So you kind of see like the running chain around there, and I think it looks really nice. So let's do another round, and I am not joining. You can certainly join if you would like, but I'm just going to do kind of like a continuous spiral. So I am going to look, there's my third loop, and working a half double crochet. So I'm just going to continue to work half double crochet in the third loop, and I'm going to work a couple more rounds. That's when you really start to notice, you know, how this chain starts to really pop out, and it just really looks like a neat fabric, and it's kind of squishy, and it's nice, I think. So I'm going to keep going. I'll do a few more rounds so that you can really see what it looks like, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I worked 5 rounds total of this half double crochet in the third loop, so you can see how then that part of the top of the half double crochet starts to really pop out. So it kind of looks knitted a little bit, but I think it's its own unique look there, and I really like how it looks, and you can kind of see how it's a little bit stretchy, and it just looks really nice, looks really cool. I think it's just a fun stitch. So I hope you enjoyed this stitch of the week, and I thank you so much for watching.